Hi everybody, it's Coach Pete with academicrecruits.com coming to you today to talk about honesty or dishonesty in the recruiting process. I had a couple of college coaches get on my case a little bit for one of the interviews I did where they said, hey Pete, that's not fair. You're painting the picture that college coaches are dishonest people. And let me clarify, the recruiting process is full of dishonesty and it's a two-way street. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was at Lafayette College, we recruited a kid named Gabe Knutson. Gabe was a great kid, a very good player. We as a staff were debating whether or not we wanted to take another big or another wing / best available. Well, Gabe came to visit Lafayette in the summertime on his own dime, really liked it, thought it was probably the school for him. We kind of hesitated. Then in September, we were lining up official visits, and we wanted to bring Gabe up late September. And Gabe was being advised by a guy named Coach Ross, Duma or Dauma. I've never been able to pronounce his name correctly. Sorry about that, Ross. And they asked me point blank. They said, Pete, where does Gabe stand on your list? And I said, well, candidly, he's number 3. I said, now there's a kid that has a high major offer from Stanford, and actually Stanford actually wound up kind of backing off. The kid wound up at Nebraska, but he was at a higher level than we were. I didn't think we were going to get him. I said, then there's a kid from Oklahoma that we like that I think we just very well might get. So, you're number 2 on the depth chart behind that one kid, and I think there's a good chance that he's going to commit. Well, that was honest on my part, and hooray for me, I suppose. And Coach Ross and Gabe and his family, they were very impressed, and to this day, they think of me as a high character, reputable person. I'm Facebook friends with Gabe. I'm in touch to this day with his high school coach, and I really like them, and I think they really like me, and they respected me for telling them the truth. The problem is he went to Lehigh, our arch rival, the week before he was scheduled to visit us and committed. And then he made the all-rookie team as a freshman and helped Lehigh get to the NCAA tournament. So I was honest, hooray for me. But if I had instead been dishonest and said, Gabe, you're number 1 on our list, we just don't want to bring you up till September 21st because that's homecoming weekend, or that's a football weekend, or that's when the weather gets nice, or whatever lie and excuse college coaches give kids to try to help pull the wool over their eyes when it comes time to sorting out the official visit process. Because again, from an earlier post, that's how you know who really wants you. When they're trying to bring you up the first weekend they possibly can, which is immediately after classes start your senior year, that's how you know for sure this is a school that wanted me. So I say I was honest with Gabe, and that was what I thought was the right thing to do, and I still think it was the right thing to do, but it didn't help Lafayette College. It didn't help my boss, Fran O'Hanlon, to win games and get to the tournament. So I learned a lesson there, where when asked a direct question, telling the absolute 100% blunt, upfront, and honest truth, it burned me. It hurt our program for me to do that. So moving forward, had I stayed in college basketball, I might have sang a different tune. I might have beat around the bush. I might have played the game a little bit better. I can tell you similarly in the business I'm in right now, I have parents ask me all the time, do you think my son is a Division I player? And when I say, no, I don't, they never like that answer. And a lot of times a potential client runs away and thinks I'm a jerk for telling the truth. And then again, to get back to the honesty issue, that it's a two-way street. I can't tell you how many times I had an AAU guy or a high school coach or even a kid himself say, oh, Coach Pete, y'all are number 1 on my list. You're number 1 on my list. And then it comes time to set up visits, and they're like, well, we're going to give you a visit because you've been recruiting us the longest, and we're loyal like that, but we're going to go visit these 3 other schools first. And it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought that we were number 1 on your list. What happened? And the reality is kids do the same thing. AAU coaches do the same thing. The process is called keeping people warm. If I'm recruiting a kid as my backup plan or as my backup to the backup plan, and he knows that, he's going to feel disrespected and not be interested in my school anymore. So from a college coach's perspective, you need solid backup plans. And if being 100% upfront and honest is going to prevent you from achieving that goal of having a solid backup plan, well then maybe being 100% upfront and honest is not the smart thing for you to do. I think it's still the right thing, but it's not the smart thing. And when the right thing and the smart thing conflict with each other, that's a difficult decision, not just in recruiting, but in life. And the same thing is true with kids. The kids who told me, Coach, you're number 1 on my list, we love Lafayette, or we love the Merchant Marine Academy, or we love Schreiner College, or wherever it was where I was recruiting at the time. And then when it came time for visits, we were 4th or 5th on their list of schools they were visiting. That let me know that I'd been lied to. But again, had the kids told me up front and honestly, well, coach, you're my 4th school, or you're my 5th school, or you're my 7th school, well, then how hard am I going to be recruiting that kid? How interested am I going to be in that kid? So I can understand from the kid's perspective why he wants Lafayette College to believe that we're right there in the mix. Otherwise, Lafayette won't be there as an option. Why would we recruit a kid who has no interest in us? So again, while honesty is always the right thing to do, the dishonesty in the recruiting process is a two-way street, and it's practically a necessary two-way street. So don't run around getting your feelings hurt when college coaches aren't quite truthful with you, because I'm telling you right now, that's just the way the recruiting process works. And college coaches, don't get mad at kids when they're dishonest with you, because you do it too. It's just kind of the way, unfortunately, the recruiting process seems to function, or in some cases not function. So I wanted to clear the air on that and put that information out there for y'all to consume. And please email me if you have any questions. It's coachpete@academicrecruits.com. And I really appreciate y'all listening to this Recruiting Tips episode. And we'll be back at you tomorrow with an interview. And I sure thank you for your time.